But as always, it's an honor, it's a blessing to be in front of you all to deliver the word. As always, I do not take this for granted. I take this very seriously, and I just pray that what God has poured into me, that when I pour out, that you all receive it as expected. Amen. Amen. And then last week I mentioned something, how God has put it on my heart to talk about trials. Because we're all going to experience some trials, and how bad things happen to good people. But here's the thing, every bad thing that happens to you is not your fault. Like that, now there is some bad stuff that happened to us because it's just our doing. We put ourselves in that situation. We didn't listen. We were disobedient. So God has to chasten us. And that's when bad things, but every bad thing that happened to you is not because of something you did, but it's some bad stuff that happened to you because of something God did. Every bad thing that happened to you isn't just your fault, but it's just something God is trying to get out of you. God trying to get something out of you. And so when we endure seasons of grief, seasons of pain, seasons of loss, we automatically think about, what did I do wrong? I do not deserve. Have you all ever said that before? I don't deserve this. You ever experienced something, you turn into Denzel Washington on Training Day, you think you can do this to me? You think God, and I'm guilty for saying that from time to time when I'm like, God, I consider myself a good person. Yeah. And you're going to let this happen to your boy? Like, I'll be riding with you. You're going to let this happen to me, and God, and it's like, God, you're going to deliver me from this season. I know that, but why are you going to have me in the season in the first place? It's like when somebody steals something from you and they helping you look for it. Yeah. Like, I'm in this situation because of you. And it's like, God, you deliver me from this, but I'm in this situation because of you. I didn't ask for this. And we in seasons that we didn't ask for. Some of us are in seasons of pain we didn't ask for. That's right. In seasons of loss that we didn't ask for. Seasons of persecution, affliction, and suffering, and we didn't ask for it. That's right. But we have it. And we can't think about, why would God allow this to happen to me? And last week we saw that there's purpose behind that trial. There's purpose behind that pain. God, we serve a God that's intentional. And so he purposely allowed this to happen to you for a reason. He intentionally placed you in this season for a reason. There's purpose behind it. Last week we looked at what James said about trials. But today we're going to look at what Peter says about trials. We're going to be in the 1 Peter. See, Peter is like the coldest disciple. He's the second most mentioned name in all the Gospels, second after Jesus, of course. Of course, Peter walked on water. And Peter is known, he confessed Jesus more boldly than any other disciple. But here's how funny acting people are. Out of that same mouth, he also denied Jesus more publicly than any other disciple. That's why people are funny acting. People wishy-washy. Out of the same mouth, they'll praise you, and with that same mouth, they will deny you. And in that same mouth, they singing Hosanna. Out of that same mouth, they saying crucify you. Out of the same mouth, they say I love you. And with that same mouth, I hate you and your mama. Like, wait a second now. But Peter was known, he publicly denied Jesus. And with that same mouth, he confessed Jesus more boldly. And that's why you can't truly depend on people, because you don't know what people are going to say. People are going to feel, one week they feel this way about you, saying all this good stuff about you. Then another week, they turn you down. And so we're going to look at what Peter has to say about trials. We're going to be in the 1 Peter chapter 1, verses 6 through 7. 1 Peter 1, 6 through 7. Reading from the NLT. And this is his first letter. He's writing to a group of Gentile believers. So, be truly glad that there is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials, not a single trial, but many trials for a little while. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. These trials will show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. Though your faith is more precious than mere gold. We have faith that's more precious than mere gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, it will bring you much praise and glory and honor on the day when Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. And today's subject is a continuation from last week, profiting from trials too. Profiting from trials too. A profit is a valuable return, a gain, and there's something of value that we can gain when we go through a trial. And in this letter, Peter mainly addresses the contrast of suffering and glory in a believer's life. So he acknowledges the suffering Christians were experiencing at that time, and he wrote this letter to encourage those across the Asia Minor, which is the Asian part of modern day Turkey today, who were being persecuted. So this is a letter of encouragement. See, it's good to have some encouragement. It's good that's why it's important to get people around you, your inner circle, your road dogs, people that can encourage you, people that can give you hope, people that can show you support, and people that can give you some confidence. Yes, it's okay. Yes, we need to encourage ourselves. But here's the problem, and this is all the strong people. Y'all, we're all victims. Sometimes you can become so strong that people see you and feel like you got it all together. They look at you and feel like you don't need no encouragement because you always have it all together. But can we be honest? Yes, I know I'm strong, but I don't have it all together all the time. I need some encouragement too. If you need some encouragement too, say me too. We all need some encouragement. We need people around us. The problem is we can become so strong and people look at you and say, they good. Like, no. You see my smile, but you don't see my tears. You see my armor, but you don't see my leprosy. We all going through something privately, so everybody need a little bit of encouragement. Yeah. We all need some hope, some confidence, some support. Show me a little encouragement because we all fighting something. You need people around you that can say, don't give up. People around you that say, keep on fighting. Don't give up. You're not alone. God is with you. If God is for you, who can be against you? Keep on going. Yeah. You need people around you that can encourage you. And so some of us need to do a self-inventory and look at our friends and be like, do you encourage me or do you discourage me? Do you lift me up when I'm in time of need or do you just keep putting me down even more and more? Yes, I know I made a mistake, but you don't got to keep throwing it in my face. Yes, I know this is probably my fault, but lift me up a little bit. Let me know that, look, God is still with me. God is still working on me. I'm not perfect. But you need a little bit of encouragement because everybody going through something. I don't care how good of a person you are, you're going through something. Everybody is dealing with because trials, like we saw last week, trials are inevitable. They're a normal part of the Christian life. They're going to happen whether we like it or not, and we will all experience seasons of grief, seasons of suffering, seasons of loss, seasons of pain. And we could think that teaming up with Jesus, everything going to be good in regards to I'm not going to experience no more pain. Now, I don't, that you got to rethink, you got to regroup, you got to you tripping a little bit if you think like that. When you team up with Jesus, there's no trial exempt form that you fill out. People fill out tax exempt all the time, but there's no trial exempt form that you fill out like, good, I'm going to fill this out and I'm not going to experience no more pain, no more trials, no more suffering, no more loss, no more grief. There's no trial exempt form, but teaming up with Jesus doesn't mean that you won't experience more pain. To me, and I said last week, teaming up with Jesus makes life more manageable. Like when Jesus is, me knowing that Jesus is on my side gives me confidence that I can face any hardship that comes my way. I can endure whatever comes my way. Not saying it's going to be easy, but it will be manageable. Not saying that not saying that there won't be tears, but there will be joy. Not saying that you won't bend, but you won't break. Not saying that the weapon won't form, but the weapon won't prosper. Teaming up with Jesus makes it manageable. You can handle it. You can handle it. I can't, I've been in church all my life, and I just can't imagine just not having Jesus on my side. I just can't imagine living a life without having, I can't imagine, like, where will my mind be? Because, we all go through, so I can't imagine going through something that's really turned me up and not having Jesus on my side to deal with it. Right. Teaming up with Jesus makes life you can handle a little better. Handle it a little, and that's the attitude we need to have in times of trial. Someone say attitude. Attitude, knowing that God did not allow this to happen to you to destroy you. What you're going through is not meant to destroy you. What you're going through isn't meant to tear you down, to break your faith. What you're going through is for you to strengthen your faith, build your faith. But if you have the wrong mindset, you think God trying to bring you down and destroy you. But no, boo-boo. He's trying to build you up. In order to build you up, you need a little bit of resistance. For those who love working, I see Jeffro in the building. What's good, Jeffrey? Jeffrey been in the gym lately, but I know that when in the gym they talk about resistance, and you need that resistance to build that muscle. You need that resistance to build, to gain that strength. You need that resistance. So a lot of us want the result from resistance, but we don't want to go through resistance. You want the results of working out, but you don't want to lift those weights. You staring at those weights like, oh, one day. But if you could just wake up and you got that chiseled Michael B. Jordan body, you wouldn't go to the gym. But no. You're going to have to endure some things to gain that muscle. Attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, typically one that is reflected in a person's behavior. That's the definition of attitude. It's typically reflected in someone. You ever seen someone do something with a bad attitude? They did it, but you just saw all in their demeanor. They just had a bad attitude. Like, yeah, you doing what you're supposed to do, but you have a negative attitude about it. You have a horrible attitude. Yes, you going through this season. You dealing with this season that God put you in, but boy, you have a negative attitude. You have a bad attitude about what you're going through. And we, as believers, we need to have a positive attitude even though we're going through some hard times. That's right. We need to have a positive attitude even though what we're going through is conflicting to what we want. It's all about your attitude. Your attitude, yeah, you did it, but you wasn't willing. God says he wants willing hearts. So you did it, but you had a bad attitude about it. You just wasn't, yeah, you gave, but you wasn't cheerful. You wasn't a cheerful giver. Yeah, you gave. You ever seen somebody catch a whole attitude when they pay you back? They have a whole attitude paying you back. When you ask for your money, then they like, here your funky little dollars right here. It's just $1. It wasn't funky when you asked for it. You really needed that money. And people, they get a whole attitude when they paying you back. Like, look, all I asked for my money back, man. But he's writing this letter to encourage them. And this is all leading up to the text. Because in this letter, he's encouraging them. And he first encouraged them. See, sometimes we need to be reminded of what God has already done. Yeah. Sometimes because we quick to forget. We forgetful. God would do something for us last year, and then we go through the same thing again, and we forget that he got us through it last year. And so we need some encouragement. Hey, you dealt with this before, and God saw you through. So that means if he did it before, he can do it again. Right. He's consistent. He's the same God. The same God that got you through high school is the same God that's going to get you through college. Right. The same God that got you through your 20s is the same God that's going to get you through your 30s. We serve the same God. Same God. And he's reminding them, and here he encourages readers by reminding them through the resurrection of Christ, God calls them to be born again. And born again to a living hope. Not a dead hope, but a living hope. It's living because of our living, resurrected Savior. And the hope that Peter speaks of is not the hope that we tie to today of wishful thinking. We have I hope nobody take my spot at church. That's that wishful thinking. Oh, I hope I pass this test. I hope I'm able to get those tickets. I hope the ice cream machine is working at McDonald's because I really want a McFlurry. That's that wishful thinking of hope, but that's not the hope that Peter is talking about. Peter is talking about the hope that means an eager, confident expectation. Oh, that sounds good. To have an eager, confident as believers, we should have an eager, confident expectation in Jesus. Yes. We should be eagerly expecting Jesus to fulfill his promises. We should be eagerly expecting Jesus to step in, to be with us, to fulfill his promises that he has for us. Are you expecting God to do what he says he's going to do? Are you expecting God to fulfill his promises? Are you expecting God to move in your situation? Like, I don't know about you, but when God drops something in my heart, I'm eagerly expecting him to do what he says he's going to do. That's right. I'm not wishful thinking. No, I'm eagerly expecting. Because his word never returns void. So when he speaks a word into you, you should be, I can't wait for this to happen. And that's the hope. As believers, we shouldn't have hope not in money, but in Jesus. Not in our career, but in Jesus. Not in our finances, but in Jesus. Because all those things will fade away. So in other words, that's hope that will perish. But living hope is in Jesus, and Jesus is living. Jesus will not perish. And he reminded them that you are born again to a living hope. And the object of this living hope is our inheritance. Someone say inheritance. Yeah. God is keeping an inheritance for us in heaven that cannot perish, that cannot spoil, that cannot fade away. See, Peter doesn't really describe our inheritance. What he does is tell us what it's not. And he said that won't be touched by death, stained by evil, or faded with time. What God has for you, no man can take away. What God has for you cannot fade away. That milk might spoil, but what God has for you won't spoil. It won't fade away. It is for you. And not only is it for you, but God is keeping us for that inheritance. So it's fail-proof because God guards and preserves it in heaven for us. So it's secured. Your future is secured. Doesn't that feel good to know your future is secured? And Peter is saying all this to build up he's encouraging them. Yeah, I know what you're going through is painful. What you're going through is harsh, but your future is secured. Your future is secured. And he said all this so we can understand and value the glory that awaits us. When we understand what awaits us, we're better able to endure whatever comes into our lives. We're able to endure what we're going through right now because we know the outcome. When you already know the outcome, it gives you more confidence in you now. Knowing that, hey, God already worked this out. And even though in this lifetime, in this world, I'm experiencing what I'm experiencing, my future is secure. So that's why in verse 6 it said, be truly glad. There is wonderful joy ahead. Ahead is the future. So he's saying, be glad in your future. Be glad that this future of, you have your living hope, this inheritance is secured for you. It's waiting for you. So there's wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. Yeah. For a little while. While you on this earth, while you in this physical body, while you're going to endure some trials for a little while. It won't last long, but it's for a little while. It's for a little while. And Peter encouraged his reader that within the fact that Christians can truly be glad in this imperishable inheritance and sure salvation, though they are tested by persecution and suffering while in this world. So we should have a different outlook when we're facing trials while in this world, knowing what the future holds for us. And that's the attitude we need to have as believers when we are facing trials. When we're in seasons of grief, seasons of tribulation, seasons of persecution, seasons of pain. As a believer, we need to be a certain attitude when it comes to facing trial, that our faith is being tested while in this world. Our faith is being tested, and it's not being tested just to be tested. God knows how your faith game is. Yep. God knows how your faith looks. He knows how valuable your faith is. He knows how much faith you have. He knows how weak your faith is. He knows, but we don't know. A lot of times you don't know how strong you are until you're in the situation. That's right. You don't know how much strength you had. You didn't know how strong your faith was until you had to deal with the loss of a loved one. You don't know. So the test is used to show where you at. It's used as a benchmark. If you never got tested in school, you wouldn't know how smart you are. Yep. But the test is used like, okay, this is where I'm at. And doesn't it feel good when you take the test again a little while later and you're like, ooh, I increased. I feel good. I went up 3 percentage points. People are like, that's not a lot, but it's a lot for me. It's increased. Because it's all about progression. That's right. We want to be progressing. We think it's all about perfection, but we're not going to be perfect people. Never going to be perfect people. Because we in this body. And we always sinning. Like we gonna sin. We sinning. People sin in their head right now. That's right. Right now. People are home. Yeah. You home. You in your room. You in your apartment. You in your house, and people can't see what you're doing, but God sees what you're doing. That's right. He's sitting next to you right now, like you need to put that down. You watching service. Put it up. Put it up. But He sees what you doing. I can just see people, let me just pour this drink a little bit and watch service. I'm at home. Like, no, you can't watch this service and drink Hennessy. What you doing? That don't make sense. But He sees what you're doing. God knows how much faith you have. And He's tested. So James said our faith is being tested to produce endurance. Yes. But Peter writes that your faith is being tested to prove the genuineness of your faith. To prove how authentic your faith is, genuine your faith is, real your faith is. To prove it. Because it looked like faith, but I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. It's used. Like I love, like when it comes to buying jerseys, like I love jerseys. Like they have different versions. They have the replica, which is the cheapest. Then they have swing man. Then they have authentic. Now authentic costs a lot more. And I ain't balling like that to buy authentic jerseys. But I love that swing man. Swing man, it looks authentic, but through some tests, you'll see it's not authentic. Right. But it's so faith, the test of your faith is used to test, to prove the genuineness of your faith. Is your faith genuine? Is it authentic? Is it real or is it fake? These trials show that your faith is genuine. It is being tested as fire tests and purify gold. Though your faith is far more precious than gold. The only way you can tell what it is if you test it. That's right. I said it last week and I'm going to repeat it again. A faith that cannot be tested cannot be trusted. You can't trust something fully if you don't test it. You can't trust your marriage if your marriage isn't tested by hard times. Hard times will reveal is this love real or not? Yeah. You can't trust your friendship until your friendship is tested by hard times. Because hard times will let you know if they really with you or not, if they your friend or not. Yeah, you say you love me, but let's see if you still love me when we go through some things. Yeah, you say you my friend, but let's see if you're still my friend when we endure some things. Because a test will expose if it's real or not. A test will expose. A test will expose it. Do you really know this material or have you been cheating? Yeah, you getting good grades, but if they throw this test in front of you, if you fail, my man, I don't know. I don't think you really understand the material like you think you do. A test will expose. A test will expose. In school, it was a big deal. People trying to expose the fake Jordans or not. People walking around, are those real or not? Are those real shoes or not? That's the real brand or not? A test will expose, and God will test your faith to display to us the enduring quality of our faith. Can your faith endure the test of time? Can your faith endure pain? Can your faith endure seasons of trial, season of tribulation? Because we don't know how long a season is going to last. But we need to have faith to endure that season. And if God, and here's the thing, if gold has to be tested to prove its genuineness, then how much more faith, which is far more precious than gold? If gold has to be tested, faith needs to be tested. Faith is far more precious than gold. And Peter goes to compare and contrast our faith with the classic standard value of gold. Gold has, humans love gold. Gold has held man's fascination for years. Humans just love gold. And I remember I was in 7th grade. It was probably in 6th grade, but I was going to middle school. My mama bought me a gold chain. It had a gold pendant. It was a basketball. She bought a gold. And to be 12, 13-year-olds with a gold, I felt good. Oh, this gold right here. And I couldn't let nobody wear it, and which is because it's gold. And I'm a kid. But I told, I know my mom was probably listening, but, I met this girl in 7th grade by the name of Bree. And, back, I don't know if they still do it in school now, but, back when I was in middle school and high school, like if a dude liked the girl wore his stuff. She'll wear his hoodie, or she'll wear some type of material from him just to, it was just a gesture. And so Bree wore my necklace. And the deal was, like, I had to have that necklace back by the end of the school day before I go home. Or Nick would not be standing here right now if that didn't happen. And so that was the deal. So I'm like, look, Ma, check it out. When this last bell ring, I'm at this locker, and I need to have that necklace back before I get on this bus. Or Robin, this smile ain't gonna be pretty. I know I'm gonna be missing some teeth. I know that. And so, but it's because gold, like it's gold. You take care of it. It's precious, and it's all, and back then, and this gold can only be found in hidden lumps of rock. Yeah. And often buried deep. And its real value cannot be tested, cannot be measured until it has been tested by fire. Until gold has been tried by fire, they don't know the value of gold. You don't know the value of it until it's tried by fire. Gold that has been tested by fire is considered pure and precious. So the fire is necessary to purify the gold. The fire is necessary to remove the dross, which is something regarded as worthless. It's worthless. It's rubbish. But the fire is needed to remove all that. So there is no shortcut to purifying gold other than putting it in a fire. There is no shortcut to this, and we love some shortcuts. And there is no shortcut to genuine faith without going through the fire. Without going through the fire, because faith is like spiritual gold. It's something that's desirable. We desire it, we seek it, and we pursue it. But I'm seeing that people will spend more energy pursuing actual gold than pursuing faith. It's a lot of gold diggers out here. A bunch of gold diggers out here. But if you have that same energy seeking faith, then imagine how your faith will look. If you spend that same energy you spend seeking more followers, if you spend that same energy seeking faith, how would your faith look? So yes, there's a lot of gold diggers out here, but we need to be some faith diggers. We need to be some faith, eagerly seeking faith, wanting to increase our faith, wanting more faith, because faith is more precious than gold. And here's the thing about gold. No one is satisfied with gold in its raw state. Like, can you put that picture on the screen, gold in its raw state? Like, nobody just going to walk around with chunks of rock. That's before the fire. Who in their right mind want to carry that around? We want the pure gold, which has been tested by fire, tried by fire, and had its worth proven. We want what comes after the fire. But you can't get what comes after the fire unless you deal with the fire. I said before, you want the result without the fire. You want the faith without the fire. A lot of us want the faith like the Hebrew boys. Even if God don't do it, that type of faith. I'm going to still love them anyway. I'm still going to rock with you. You want that type of faith, but you don't want to get in that furnace. You want the result from the furnace, but you don't want to deal with the furnace. See, tested by fire simply means refining, and refining means removing what isn't gold. So it's not altering gold itself, it's removing what's not gold. Can you put a picture of that fire? That's what we don't want to deal with. We want the result from it, but we don't want to deal with it. But a refiner placed the chunks of rock in there to remove what isn't gold. So after the fire, you receive the gold, the purified gold. You receive that because gold is naturally impure. And here's the thing, a good goldsmith, check this out, will put it into the furnace multiple times. It's not just one time, but it's multiple times. And each time the gold, that rock passes through the fire, the gold is purified. It becomes more pure. It becomes more pure. It has to be done multiple times. And a lot of us trying to feel like, how come we keep being in seasons of pain and seasons of trial multiple times? It's because your faith is being purified. Doesn't that feel good? God is trying to purify your faith. Yeah, I know you don't like what you're going through. You feel like you keep getting it over and over again, but you want genuine faith. You want purified faith, so you're going to have to deal with the fire. I know you don't want to deal with the fire, but you're going to have to deal with the fire. And each pass of the fire of the gold, it gets more pure, more pure. That's why you got 8-karat gold, 16-karat gold, 24-karat gold. And everybody want that 24-karat gold, but you're going to deal with that fire multiple times. You want that 24-karat faith, you're going to deal with that fire. But each pass of the fire is being more pure. And I want to ask you, what carat is your faith? What carat is your faith? 8-karat faith, 16-karat, now 24-karat, that's a high bar. I don't think I have faith like that because I still have some doubt. I still have some insecurities. I still have some unbelief from time to time. Like, God, I know what you say you're going to do, but I don't see it. I don't see it, but that's that impurity that God is trying to remove from you. Remove from your faith. And that's why you have to go through that fire to remove the dross. And here's the thing too, a good goldsmith never takes his eyes off the gold. He watches it carefully because he has to perfectly balance the heat of the fire, because too much fire will ruin it. That's right. Too little fire will allow the impurity to mar its beauty and its worth. So it has to be just right. God knows the exact temperature your faith needs. Like I said, God would never put more on you than you can bear. He knows the exact temperature that you can stand. He knows the exact temperature that won't break you. And he knows the exact temperature, okay, this won't break them, but this will also, it will purify them a little more. God would never put more on you than you can bear. He knows exactly how much you can handle. You feel like you can't handle it, but God allowed it because you can't handle it. You might not think you can handle it, but God allowed it to happen to you because he knows the exact temperature to put your faith in. He knows the exact temperature to test your faith. He's watching you. You're not alone. You are not alone. You are not. God put you in that fire for a reason. And he did not bring you this far to leave you. He didn't just set you in the fire and walk away and go eat a sandwich and watch Netflix. No. He put you in that fire. He's watching you. He's watching. He knows exactly how much you can handle. And the fire is necessary because some of us think we have gold, but we don't have gold. We have fool's gold. Someone say fool's gold. Fool's gold. You can put it on the screen. There's a metal. Iron pyrite has a glossy yellow look. It looks like gold, but it has no value. So a lot of gold diggers are fooled by fool's gold. They think it's gold until they try it by fire. They think it's gold until it's tried by fire. They think it's gold until they try it. That's enough right there. They think it's gold until it's tried by fire. They think what they have is of value until they put it in fire. You don't know the value of something until you put it in fire. You can only tell, see, if it emerges from the fire, then you know it's genuine. If it withstands the fire, then you know it's real. But if it burns up, this wasn't real. See, fool's faith will vanish when it's tried by fire. You say you have faith, but once you get in some dark times, you abandon God. You say, no, God wouldn't do this to me. No, that was fool's faith. But true faith, genuine faith, will withstand the fire. See, fire burns away the fake. Fire burns away fake love. People that say they love you, but then as soon as it get hot a little bit, they leave you. Fire burns away fake friendships. Fire burns away fake friendships. They say they're your boy, they say they're your sister, they say they're your girl, but as soon as it get a little hot, they leave you. Fire burns away fake people. Just fake. You want to say, God, and then here's the thing. Sometimes we do bring the fire upon ourselves because we ask God, say, God, remove anybody that's not in my life, that's not supposed to be in my life. Then it'll crank up the heat a little bit and people start leaving. You try to say, God, why I feel like my friendship is under fire? It's because God's testing it. You say remove it, the fire burns away with the fake. The fire burns because only the real can emerge from the fire. And so when fool's gold is in the furnace, it doesn't emerge. So it's no value. And so you think what you have is gold, but it's not gold. You say you have genuine faith, but once you in some hard times, it doesn't last. Because the fire burns away what's not authentic. See, true, authentic, genuine faith will always release a manifestation or a display of Christ as a testimony to his presence and power. So when I think about the three Hebrew boys, when they were in a furnace, it was three of them. And what did the king say? I threw in three, right? I look down, I see a fourth person. And so when you have genuine faith, authentic faith, when people see you going through some fire, they're going to see they should be able to see Jesus in what you're going through. They should be able to see Jesus moving in your life. They should be able to see some type of representation of, hey, God is with them. God working with them. I still remember what I was going through in September 2016. This dude came up to me. He's not a church guy. A lot of, comics I hung around, they weren't church people. They were, atheists, agnostic, whatever they wanted to do, that was their preference, but they just didn't do that. And this one dude said, hey, man, I don't believe in that God stuff. But when I see you navigating in this, what you dealing with, you challenging me, brother. Like, it's something about you that I'm seeing when I'm seeing you deal with what you're dealing with. And that's what genuine faith should do. When you have authentic faith, real faith, when you have that type of faith that can withstand that fire, people should be able to see, oh no, God is working with them. God is with them. Look at God. People should be able to look at God. I didn't think they was going to get through it, but look at God. I don't know how they got through that, but look at God. God is really, it should be able to challenge their faith. Like, yo, if they can deal with that, I know the same God that's with them is the same God that's with me. The same God that's with them is the same God that's with me. See, genuine faith will be accompanied by a display of Christ. See, evidence of your faith that people should see. That's your story. They say your life is the best sermon you can preach. When people see what you see and you overcome those seasons of pain, seasons of loss, that's your testimony. People should be able to see your story and be like, look at God working with them. Look at what God has done for them. Christ should be revealed in your testimony. Christ should be revealed in your testimony. Your story is powerful. I know you feel like God had you go through it for a reason, but everybody's story has a purpose. It's somebody out there that needs to hear your story. It's someone out there that their life can be changed based on your story, because when you tell your story, you can say, this is what God has done for me. As I close, that's what I want to remind y'all. This is what God has done for me. Like I said, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. You going through what you're going through because your story can impact thousands of people. You don't know that. You don't know what God has for you in the future, but you do know that God has your future secured. Yes. You don't know the future. You don't know what tomorrow going to look like, but God is already in your tomorrow working it out. God is already in your tomorrow fixing everything. You know, he's the ultimate orchestra. He's orchestrating everything, putting things in place, people in place, and we just see a snapshot. We don't see how we're going to get through this, but God sees the big picture. Yes. Don't fear the fire. Profiting from trials, we're able to gain that type of purity when it comes to our faith. Yes. That type of genuine faith, that authentic faith. How many of you want authentic faith? You want that faith. I want that 24 karat faith. It's progress. It's progress. But in order to get that type of faith, you need to be in some fire. Yeah. Don't fear trials. Don't fear seasons of pain. Don't fear seasons of persecution, because it's going to come. But God did not bring this into your life for no reason. God did not allow this to happen to you for no reason. He allowed it intentionally. He allowed it purposefully. He allowed it. See, fire isn't designed to destroy you, but to remove everything that's holding you back from God's perfect will. It's not meant to destroy you. It's meant to remove some things from you. It's not meant to break you down, but a lot of times, in order to grow, you need to be pruned. You're going to get cut a little bit. You're going to get cut a little bit. You're going to get, in the heat a little bit, but it's not meant to destroy. If you remain steadfast, you will glorify God and come to know his power in a deeper way. God's keeping power. God will keep you through that storm. He will keep you in that season. Your triumph will be a testimony to believers and unbelievers alike. Now, this isn't to say that it will get easier. These two sermons were not meant that, oh my goodness, I'm not going to experience no more trials. No, it's meant to say that it's not going to get easy, but God is with you. You will become stronger, wiser, and not easily swayed by storms that come your way. And you will also have a better attitude when it comes to facing trials. Someone say, fix the attitude. Fix the attitude. I know you don't like what you're going through, but change your mindset, change your attitude, change your perspective of what God is doing for you in the midst of this trial. There's something you can gain from this trial. Amen? Amen. Let's give God some praise for that word.